Hello everyone, so this is the third video for the muscle system lecture. I just wanted to go over some generalized patterns for muscle actions. This doesn't apply for every single muscle, but this is going to help give you some context, which is going to be very helpful for lab, because remember, for lab you need to know not just the muscle names, but the actions of the muscles. And so this is going to help create some context for you. Before we begin, we need to define some of these terms: flexion, extension, abduction, and adduction. So my suggestion would be to pause the video right now, get out a piece of paper, and try to define all of those before you begin. Okay, welcome back. So now I'm going to go through it together. I'm going to back up so I can mime things out for you. So flexion means that you're decreasing the angle at a joint. So for example, if you flex your arm, or you could say flex your elbow, you're decreasing the angle. So this would be flexion. And extension is the opposite of flexion, where you're increasing the angle at the joint. So you can extend your arm or extend your elbow. And so this would be extension, this would be flexion. Now abduction is if you draw a line down the middle. Abduction means that you're taking it away from the midline. I think of it like abduct. If you're going to abduct it, you can take it away. So if you move away from the midline, that is abduction. And adduction is opposite to that. Adduction with a D, adduction. You add it back on to the midline. Okay, so abduction away, adduction towards the midline. So that's going to be really important, because when you're saying the actions of your muscles, remember you're going to use an action term such as one of these and the body part that is actually moving. So for the general kind of pattern that you'll see is muscles that flex the body parts tend to be found on the anterior or front side of the body. So for example, this muscle right here, this is called the pectoralis major muscle. And what it does is it flexes the arm. So please note that this is abduction. Going straight forward, this is flexion. So I'm flexing the arm, or you can say flexing the humerus, or you can say flexing the shoulder. Any of those three all mean this action right here. This muscle also does adduction. Okay, so when you're adducting the humerus, you can move in this direction as well. So adduction and adduction, both of those would be adducting the humerus. They tend to be found on the front side of the body. So again, you want your action words, so flexes, and the body part, humerus or shoulder. So for example, the muscle that runs straight up and down for your abdomen, this is called the rectus abdominis. Please note that there's an IS. Abdominis. The rectus abdominis, what it does is it flexes. So when it contracts, what action do you think it does? Right? So it's going to flex the vertebral column. And you think about doing like a sit-up, right? What you're doing is you're decreasing the angle of your body, of your front part. And so on the front, it'll contract it here. And that would be the rectus abdominis muscle. Now think about what would draw you up. Where would you feel the tension for that? So if you're flexing here, you feel the contraction, the work on the front, and extension, you would feel the work on the back. So you, generally speaking, the flexors will be on the front, and then the extensors would be on the back. Right? So we have our pectoralis major muscle. Here we are flexing the humerus, bringing it forward. That's flexing the humerus. And then if you go backwards here, you're going to feel them work on the back of your body, and that would be the latissimus dorsi. Latissimus dorsi is a big, giant muscle on the lower part of your back. The upper part of your back would be the trapezius muscle. So the latissimus dorsi is on the lower part of the inferior part of your back. So when you think about what it does, so if this is flexing the humerus, what would be going back? That's extends the humerus. So extension of the humerus, or you can say extend the shoulder. This is also going to be very helpful when you're trying to learn the forearm muscles, because these muscles have long names and a big part of their name is often extensor or flexor. Like, okay, so for example, you have flexor digitorum or things like that. So flexors, if you think about your forearm right here, if you are flexing your wrist, okay, so you're flexing it, decreasing the angle at the wrist, the tension for that is going to be felt on the front part of your forearm right here. Okay, so these muscles here on the front of your arm, the anterior side of your arm, those are going to be your flexors, where if you're extending, you're going to feel the tension, the work on the back side of the arm. So the back side of the arm, the posterior side, that is going to be your extensors. So flexors will be on the anterior side and extensors will be on the posterior side. So let's talk about abductors. So remember, abductors means going away from the midline. So like sort of on this kind of plane, right? Your frontal plane. So away from the midline here. So this is abduct. So when you abduct your arm, you're going to feel the work on the lateral side of your body, right? It's pulling it away. And so it's going to be on the lateral side of your body. So for example, that muscle right there, that's called the deltoid. The deltoid would be this muscle on the lateral side of your shoulder. And that deltoid would abduct your humerus or abduct your arm, or you could say abduct your shoulder. Any of those would be acceptable answers. So again, abductors on the outside because they're pulling away. And then on the medial side, you'll have the adductors, the one pulling it back in. Okay, so right here you have a muscle called the teres major muscle, and the teres major muscle connects the humerus to the scapula, and when it contracts, remember contraction means to shorten, that'll draw draw the arm towards the body. So the action of the teres major would be to adduct the humerus or adduct the arm. So notice that the muscles only do one direction. Okay, so you have to have different muscles abducting from adducting. They have to be different muscles because muscles can only pull in one single direction. Okay, so let's go into relationships. Okay, so we just mentioned that the deltoid and the teres major did opposite actions. One adducts the arm, the other one, the one abducts the arm, the other one adducts the arm. So they're moving in opposite directions. What's the word for being opposite? Anybody know? It starts with an A. Antagonistic. So antagonistic means opposite. So when you're looking at the relationship between two muscles for any particular organ, any particular movement, you're going to have an agonist and an antagonist. An agonist is also known as the prime mover. That is the one that is going to complete that action. And the antagonist goes against. So an antagonist means against, the opposite movement for that action. Now, it's very important for your understanding to know that when you're talking about agonist versus antagonist, it completely depends on the current action being taken. So for example, let's look at the arm right here. If you are flexing the arm, the one doing the majority of the work would be the biceps brachii right here. Okay, so that would be the agonist. The one that is going to oppose that movement to extend the arm, that would be the biceps brachii, and it's going against the biceps the triceps brachii, and that's going against the biceps brachii, so that would be the antagonist. And then what about when you're extending the arm? What does the majority of the work? So the triceps brachii is the agonist now, and the one that would be opposing it is the biceps brachii. Okay, so it really depends on the current movement. If you are talking about arm flexion, the biceps brachii is the agonist. And if you're talking about arm extension, now we have the arm extension, now we have the triceps brachii being the agonist. Okay, so it's really important that, notice how the role switches. It's really important that you understand that which one is the agonist and which one is the antagonist depends on what is the current action. It changes depending on the action. Okay, next one, Synergist. If you think about synergy, like, oh, this company has synergy, that means that they are stronger together. That's really what it means. You're stronger together than you are individually pieced. So what a synergist for a muscle is, it's a muscle that's helping out with the same action. So what I want you to do right now is to provide some resistance for your arm flexion, right? So the prime mover or the agonist for arm flexion is the biceps brachii, this muscle right here. But if you provide some resistance, you'll notice that you also feel some tension right here, okay? This is called the brachioradialis muscle. So when you provide tension, you'll notice how it kind of comes out right here. That's the brachioradialis muscle. And so this right here is a synergist for arm flexion because it helps out the action of the prime mover, which is the biceps brachii. So the prime mover or the agonist would be the biceps brachii, and the synergist, the one that helps out with the action, is the brachioradialis muscle right there. So the action for both of those muscles would be arm flexion or elbow flexion. Okay, and another one that we need to talk about, fixators. They sound exactly what they sound, it's exactly what they sound like. Those are the ones that fix it, hold it stable. So this is very common, especially in that shoulder joint. For the shoulder joint, you don't actually have very many ligaments holding things in place, and that's to help increase the range of motion. But what you do have is you have some tendons and muscles creating a nice fixed muscle. So these are called the rotator cuff muscles, and they create a nice capsule that helps support that joint right there, the joint between the head of the humerus and the acromion right there. So that's going to help stabilize your shoulder joint right there. And those are called the rotator cuff muscles. All of those muscles, supraspinatus, infraspinatus, subscapulars, their job is just to hold things steady so that as you're moving, you have a little bit more stability. So therefore, they are fixators. They fix and hold things steady. Okay, so what I encourage you to do is go ahead and name one agonist and antagonistic muscle pair. Notice that, again, it depends on the current action the action that you're currently doing. Bye.